Welcome to the demo of Sales and Operations Planning Template. This template is created using best practices, metrics, and KPIs suggested by Oliver White, and using Oracle Demantra as the underlying tool. An integrated sales and operations planning process allows you to move away from a silo-based approach and to reach an end-to-end approach which is aligned with organizational goals. Here is an overview of some of the benefits that companies get using S&OP processes. Based on the AMR study, they tend to have better order delivery, lesser inventory, and also lesser supply chain costs to achieve the same revenue target. Our customers that have utilized Trinamax S&OP templates have realized similar benefits in their supply chain. The objective of this process is to have final consensus plan followed by all the participants in the organization, including sales, marketing, and finance, and driven by top management. The process starts by collecting sales history at appropriate levels along the average selling price for that sale, and any causal factors that may change demand. This information is used to create a baseline forecast. The baseline forecast can then become input to sales or marketing forecast process. Sales process is primarily owned by sales managers and takes the opportunity level inputs from CMR system. Marketing forecast or business unit forecast is performed by product strategy group, which also takes the inputs regarding MPI and end of life. Once sales and marketing forecast is generated, the next process is to have the demand consensus forecast. This demand consensus forecast is sent to the supply planning tool by optionally doing level loading and consumption, which generates the constraint plan. Then we eventually take that as an input and create final consensus forecast. This is the very first worksheet, which is created for baseline forecast. It shows the forecast generated using Demantra engine. You can see customer on left-hand side and item category and see historical stream along the baseline forecast. In this worksheet, you can also override the baseline forecast to reach the final baseline forecast. A right forecast tree definition, along with Bayesian blending, creates an extremely accurate forecast. It can further be tuned by doing nodal tuning based on the variation in the data. Here is the sales forecast worksheet. It's tightly integrated with CRM system. You can see the opportunity details on this worksheet, including the owner, customer information, and opportunity name. In this example, opportunity is brought at the lowest level. You can track all the details of an opportunity. You can also bring opportunity at the higher level to use as a reference to create the sales forecast. Sales forecast is reviewed and managed by sales managers to create final sales forecast. Here is an example of the marketing forecast worksheet. It's managed by marketing manager or the product owner. They study market trends and product-related attributes information and generate the marketing forecast. Sometimes this forecast is created in dollars and then converted into units by proper allocation and use of ASP. Marketing group also takes the responsibility of forecasting the NPIs and end-of-life items. They look at the baseline input and override the demand. After the deadline, sales and marketing forecast series get locked, and a demand consensus forecast meeting is conducted. Once the sales and marketing inputs are received, it leads to a consensus forecast process. There are multiple methods by which the consensus forecast is reached. Here is an example of a weighted method. Based on the success and the bias of sales and marketing forecasts, the weightage is derived for all the product families and weight is applied. Weights are modified on a quarterly basis based on the success of sales or marketing. There is another method of consensus forecast initialization, which is based on the stream select. Based on the past performances, sales or marketing forecast is used to initialize the consensus forecast and overridden to generate the final consensus forecast. Finance and manage inputs are also taken for the generation of consensus forecast. For certain industries, including high-tech, it's very common to do the forecasting at the model level, rather than an actually finally to be delivered end item. This template also has the capability to do demand planning at the model level using the attach rate forecasting. In this case, the forecast is created at the model level and gets distributed using the attach rate. Attach rates can be pulled from BOM definition or can be derived from historical sales. When this consensus forecast is applied to supply system, it needs to have proper consumption. Here is the consumption worksheet, which shows the entire mechanism. It's extremely flexible and supports multiple variation of forecast consumptions. After, consumption is published for supply planning. Once the supply system is available, you can have many scenarios and compare them one after another. Based on the supply situation, you choose one of the scenarios and then get it blessed by the entire organization. Here in the picture you have the approval process, included as part of final sign-off for the consensus forecast process. Also, in some cases, while publishing demand to the supply system, it's important for it to be level loaded to avoid serious spikes in the supply planning system. We have RCCP worksheet do the same thing. Here you can normalize the demand data based on pre-specified rules. KPIs are one of the most important parts of the sales and operations planning template. Here are some KPIs generally used to run an efficient sales and operations planning process. Here are some KPIs related to forecast accuracy and the bias, which are measured on the absolute values. Here are some other KPIs related to performance and meeting the financial objectives. This concludes the demo of Trinimac's Sales and Operations Planning Template.